Okay, lag please in 3, 2, 1. Karl, boys, when's the lag? Karl, do you want a break?
So the last game of the day comes from losers qualification. Steve Petty has just joined the losers side after losing a tight game, Hill against John McAllister. So it means he doesn't get an early night. He has to come over to the main arena and play this game against Karl boys. So losers qualification is made up as such. Jez Graham versus Neil Raybone. Karl boys Steve Petty. Chris Melling, Adam Davis. Chris Day will play either Callum Singleton or Harjeet Singh. Greg Batten is 1-0 up against Declan Brennan. Jake McCartney will play the loser of Phil Harrison and Clint Ianson. Clint is currently 8-7 up. Sean Story will play the loser of Jimmy Croxton and Dom Cooney, and that's currently Hill. And Craig Waddingham is 1 each against Sean Chipperfield. So far into the last 16, Jordan Shepherd, Jack Whelan, Josh Kane, John McAllister, Shane Thompson, Craig Marsh. Craig Marsh was my tip after round 1, but still some tough games in that mix. So he's had his second go at going into the balls. And this is a player that this is the first time that we've seen him on this main arena table. I know that you'll probably have watched him at other times during this event or the first event. Many people said that he was the missing link when it came to the Supreme Series the first year round. Well, he is no longer the missing link. It's Steve Petty. His opponent will be quite recognisable to many people. He is Karl, Box Office Boys. He has now picked up the gig for Matchroom Sport, whereby he is one of the go-to presenters and commentators and pundits for the Matchroom games. You would have seen him recently over in Vegas doing the commentary as part of that team. He will be in Leicester for the World Cup, and I'm sure he will be across in Vegas for the Mosconi. And as I say, they use him as one of their pundits, and also does a good stint on commentary. So he's picked up a good gig there as Karl. Oh, look at that. There's a bit of a battle of who's got the best shoes this weekend. And they are definitely right up there. Those are Steve Petty's little beauties. Look at that. Well, Ben Rowlands are right up there. John McAllister's are up there. That pair that Chris Melling was sporting earlier. But these, they're a couple of beauties, aren't they? Look at that. Polished to perfection. A little bit of faux snake skin just up the back there. I mean, good stuff. They put my Converse to shame. But then again, my Converse cost about 40 quid, and I expect those things were probably about, add another decimal place there, probably about 400. But he's a man of good style. Drives a very nice car, and with a nice number plate on it. It's unmistakably his. Looks like he's got quite a nice timepiece on his arm as well. So he's a man who likes to look good. Obviously, Steve, one of the stalwart players of the EPA, the UK Tour, over the last, well, probably decade. Very, very good player. It's not unusual to see him deep in these events. What kind of watch are we looking at there? What is it? Oh, look at that. It's a Rolex, look. It's a little beauty, isn't it? I bet you didn't get that from the Lucky Lucky Men. 40 quid on the beach in Benalmadena. Frame to Karl. So, an early lead for the box office. Clint grinding it out against Phil Harrison. Craig Waddingham now 4-1 up against Sean Chipperfield. Tom Cousins still in the background. It's not often you see Tom hanging around at any of these events. Normally, he'd be down the motorway by now. But he shared a lift with Sean Chipperfield, who is still in. Look at this for a timed break. Yellows. Simple clearance. Yeah, judged it well. Never in doubt this clearance. One frame each. Steve showing his class, what he's able to do. It's going to be a good game, this one. I'm going to predict very, very close. Oh, Clint's on the hill. Long way back for Phil now. Craig Waddingham now 5-1 against Chippy. Looks like Tom Cousins won't have to wait too long for that journey home.
Third frame. Karl boys to break. One frame all. Time running.
Makes a red. Gonna take yellows. Left this about as awkward as he could. I think his plan was always to play this yellow to left centre and leave a natural angle to come up and kick the other two yellows. But he's played it well. And I was just about to say opened up the entire frame, but that yellow's gone straight. He's got a nice angle just to run up into it though. Yeah, just bump it out in the open. Perfect. Really good. Back in A1. Just come around two cushions. I didn't need to. You could just play it with check side. You could have played that either way. You could have just run around with right hand side, running side, just around two cushions, back to where he was. Just under hit it a little. That's the only problem with check side. It does kill the ball, and he's under hit it by a few inches. So now the black doesn't go. I was going to say it doesn't go bottom right. Didn't he play that well? Just glanced off the red. Very nice. Good clearance. Of course, frame. Great standard so far. 2 frames to 1 in favour of Karl boys. Clint Hansen's still on the hill against Phil Harrison. That Callum Singleton Harjeet Singh's been tied up for a long time at 5 each. I don't know how long that game's been going on. They're a full round behind. I think they started late. as they were waiting for Harjeet, but even so, yeah, it started well, actually, it started very late. It started at 7:10. All the other games started at 6 o'clock, so it's only actually been going on for an hour and a half. But 10 frames in an hour and a half, I mean, that's not, it's not exactly express pace, is it? Just starting over on table 3 or 4. Jez Graham against Neil Raybone.
Break, trailing 2 frames to 1. Time running.
So, dry this time from Steve, giving Karl another chance. All the reds have a pocket, and it's fairly natural from one to the next. He's going to play the one in the middle, and just, yeah, I think he wanted to run through maybe another inch, but he's got options. He can play the one to bottom corner. Now he's going to play the red to top right, and just standing behind this one down the rail. And he's just literally left with 3 drop-ins. Wants to just leave this. Yeah, that's perfect. Just off straight. And as I say, literally 3 little drop-in stun shots. That's the first one. You just run this one off the rail. Probably come back through the gap between the yellows and leave this straight black. And no fuss, no nonsense. Playing very well. 3 frames to 1 to Karl boys. And Steve Petty, from being on the verge of going through to the last 16, losing that hill game against John McAllister, he's already 3-1 behind now and at risk of going out of the event. We shall see.
Frame, Karl boys to break, leading 3 frames to 1. Time running.
Oh dear. Got kicked in off. Always unlucky when that happens.
Ball in hand, time running.
Or just put a post on there saying the Supreme Pool Series is on.
So this time it was Karl's turn. Was it? Yeah, Karl's turn to go dry. So a good chance for... Oh no, sorry, he went in off, didn't he? Of course he did, he got kicked and off. Sorry, I was just getting spoken to by someone and lost the thread. But yeah. Both quick players, aren't they? Both very fluid around the table. And clears those very quickly. And could quickly be back in this game. This is breaking the next. As I mentioned earlier, good standard so far. So, Clint was clearly victorious over Phil Harrison. So Phil Harrison goes into the loser's side and Clint goes through into the winners.
Ball in hand. Time running.
Ball into the pocket again, another mistake. As I say, it has been a good stand-up, but been riddled by little errors, a couple of in-offs.
Red ball's in play.
Great chance. Number of ways to play these, but just the wrong angle. I think he can run through. Yeah, I was going to say run through to the side of the yellow. Just take out. I guess he needed to play him in this order because he needs to move this red out of the way to open the path for the red just to the right of the cue ball into the same pocket. He's got a nice angle just to run off the bottom side rail. Probably slightly harder than he wanted, but no problem. It's just a straight pop. Just drop it in. Guaranteed to be on the other red. Just need to cue it well. Played it with drag. You saw the cue ball reverse as we got halfway down. Almost like a little stun shot. Doesn't want to be hampered. I don't think he is. He can cue to the side of the yellow. Nice clearance. 4-2. Keeps that 2-frame lead. Halfway to his destination.
Seventh frame. Karl to break, leading 4 frames to 2. Time running.
Proper grind at the top there, wouldn't it? Game with Harjeet still going on. Callum Singleton. He's left this red on the top cushion. Wouldn't have wanted to do that. And reds aren't actually that bad. They all go apart from one. So he just needs to find a way. Just trying to think of how he can get into that yellow and red. I'm just wondering. The second. I don't think that's a option. I was just going to say that the second yellow, red next to this one, whether he could play it off of the just skim it off the yellow, push the yellow across, but he's going to play this one to middle and screw back. Hamper queuing. This isn't easy. How well has he played that? How well has he played that? What a great shot. Wow. After playing the shot he just played, I think he had to turn that one over slightly, did he? Obviously couldn't quite get through to the potting angle. Just looked on the face of it as if it was a straightforward shot, but I think it was just slightly hampered by the yellow, so I'm trying to cue across. He's missed the shot. Clever shot there from Steve. Played it as a two-way. Again, Karl doing exactly the same thing. Just playing a loss of turn shot. So Steve has to play it from where the ball lies. to be fair, he didn't really have any other options. But, there was almost a little bit of desperation in that one. There's nowhere safe on the table. But now just the one difficult red. And that's already dealt with. Really good shot. So yeah, that's pretty much all Steve could do. Karl played a good shot, using that tactical shot to his advantage. Not seen it used loads of times. So good to see him use it there. And all he could do was just tie up a couple of balls, which meant that Karl just needed to play one good developing shot, and that was game over. Scores on the doors. That loses around 4 games, just shy of 2 hours. Still locked up at 6 each. All the rest of the games from losers qualification. Greg Batten now trailing Declan Brennan 3-2.
Frame, Steve Pence's break, trailing 5 frames to 2. Time running.
Crunched. Timed that really well, but gone dry again. Shows how well they're timing the break. I don't think the referee's that remarkable once, is he? Every time he just goes up and picks the template off the table. Balls scattered far and wide, but cannot buy a ball off the break at the moment. 3 frames behind. He really needed to there.
Red ball's in play.
Swerves. And don't think he's left anything here. Not sure he's on anything. Well, obviously can just get through to this. Oh, I'm not even sure he can get through to the potting angle. I think that's why he's having another look at it. No, couldn't. Oh, that's a disaster. Absolute disaster. Should be
Ball in hand, time running.
Should be another frame. Immediately just sees what he needs to do. Red off the yellow. Open everything up. Some players would have taken a bit more of a moment to work that out. Karl knew straight away. Knows how to play this type of rule. He's used to the ball in hand anywhere on the table. Used to playing over in the States. Unwanted brush on the yellow has slowed the cue ball down. He's hoping to travel another foot, but still okay. Can just got a very handy plan B. Use the whole pocket, but it dropped. Played it at just the right pace. And pretty sure the black passes into right centre, so he can just simply screw back to where he is now. Which is exactly what he's done. He's on the cushion, but that won't matter. Just obviously increases the chance of a miscue, but that's not happening. And now it's 6 frames to 2 in favour of Karl Boyes. And he's got a 4-frame lead. And from here, Steve Petty needs to win 6-1. 6-1 against Karl Boyes, is that doable? I bet he's come back from bigger deficits than that. Can he do it today?
Ninth frame, Karl Boyes to break, leading 6 frames to 2, time running.
So another chance for Steve. Another unwanted kiss. Was playing on the yellow to top right, but won't matter. Still got this contingency ball. It's a nice thing about playing into areas. Give yourself a couple of options. Back in perfect shape. Just needs to be careful because of the traffic. Would be as any consideration. Very nice, yeah. I mean, it's slightly north of perfect. He's just overrun it slightly, but still fine. Drop it in. Leave himself a little half ball. Natural cue ball to come back up for black in the left centre. Simple stuff. And you see what the man's capable of. Pulls back within 3 frames. I said he needed to win 6-1. Now he needs to win 5-1. Chris Melling is trailing Adam Davis 5-4. Callum Singleton now on the hill against Harjeet Singh. Greg Batten's trailing Declan Brennan 4-2. Craig Waddingham beat Sean Chipperfield 8-1. That's a crazy score. Just going to step away from commentary just for a moment and go and grab a coffee as the our runner is having a nap. So we'll be back in just a few minutes.
10th frame, Steve Petty to break, trailing 6 frames to 3, time running. Yellow ball's in play.
There's a rueful look from Steve Petty as he walked back towards his chair. Clint Hansen is just sat cheering him on. The breaks have not gone for him at all. This one's a little tricky. Needs to cue it well, but he does. He's playing really well, actually. This is a very, very good Karl, boys. 7-3. He is very consistent. He's one of the players that came across from... He's probably one of the more consistent performers in this series over the last events. Very good. 7-3. And as you can see, Declan Brennan's still 4-2 with Greg Batten. Jake McCartney 2-0 against Phil Harrison. Wow. Can the Australian... Well, it won't be a shock for a lot of people. I know all the Aussies tuning in will be well aware of what Jake's capable of. 2-0 against Phil.
You've got Karl on 7-4, please.
11 frame. Karl, boys to break, leading 7 frames to 3. Time running.
George?
Sam made a ball.
Red ball's in play.
Wow, this is thin. I think he's better rerouting. I think he agrees. Well, he's coming back around to have another look at it. Just didn't get the kiss that he wanted. Got full ball instead of half ball. The trouble is with this, he can pot it, but it's super thin, and the cue ball's going to be racing. Suddenly, some tricky little clearance. Oh, that could have gone wrong. That yellow could have covered the path, but it's still good. Red to top right, and then the one along the rail to come back down table. Yeah, just a little kiss into the back of it just to promote it. If he's straight, he's in trouble. If he's straight, he is in trouble. Even slightly off straight's no good. He needed a good angle here. I'm a bit confused as to why he decided to screw back into it. He's going to have to fizz this one. Oh, he played that well. Played it off the back of the yellow, and he's been unlucky. Coming down and kissing. He's pretty much got the same angle he had earlier, but he can control it a bit better because he's a little bit further away. I think he has to pot it and try and hold it off the back of the yellow. It's just one up from the bottom rail. Oh, no good. No good. Played it with a lot of side. Just trying to kick into that yellow full ball. Good contact, but pretty much handed the frame over to Steve. So from 7-2, Steve has this clearance to go 7-4. Makes it interesting. Tester. A tester. Played it well. Such a fast player, isn't he? Double to finish it off with. No bother. Good stuff. Very nice from Steve Petty. 7-4. Now it needs to win 4-1. Climbing the hill slowly but steadily. Sorry, 4-0.
Frame, Steve commences to break, trailing 7 frames to 4, time running. Foul.
Oh. Disaster strikes.
Ball in hand, time running.
This break's just let him down in a very, very big way.
Yellow balls in play.
Bottom right, then top left. Needs to leave this the right side. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Couldn't have placed it better by hand, and this is game over. Really good stuff this from Karl, boys. And unlucky to Steve Petty, as I say, on the brink of going through to the last 16, lost the decider against John McAllister. And he is going to bow out of the event. We'll see him again in event 3. He's going to be heading off back home. But a good showing from him this weekend, just coming up slightly short. It's amazing, isn't it? Just a game of margins. Who knows what happened in that last frame against John McAllister? Maybe a break dish, maybe a mistake. But John McAllister went through, and Steve Petty had to play Karl boys and is now out of the event. So back-to-back losses. Karl boys, we're going to try and get into the interview room, and we'll have a few words with him in just a couple of moments. That's going to conclude the action on this main arena table for this evening. We're back live. I think it's 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. I think. I know they were going to try. Oh, it's 10. They've changed it. Yeah. The draw's at 10 o'clock. So we're going to have the draw for the last 16 at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, and the action will commence shortly after that. So do not miss the draw. whereby we'll draw the 8 from losers qualification to match up with the 8 in winners already through in the last 16. So we'll catch Karl for a few words, and we'll bid good night until tomorrow morning. So off the back of a good win, I'm joined by Karl Boys. Karl, that's a strong win against Steve Petty. Obviously, your tournament so far, lost in the first round to Craig Lakin. Sometimes it could be a really hard route back through the losers side, but you had a couple of forfeits and come back with wins against Ben Flack, Karl O'Donoghue and Steve Petty. That's 3 solid games there.
Yeah, I sort of prefer the losers side, to be honest, because I don't really play much, and my sort of first match of any event I always feel a bit edgy and as if I've not got, the timing right, so yeah. I always seem to do better if I go in the losers.
Yeah. I mean, Steve's going to be a tough opponent, but you've got to be happy with that performance.
Yeah, I played well then in the match, to be fair. Didn't play too good all day really, but didn't do too much wrong there, and just, like I said, because I had a bit more table time, I just started to get the feel of things, and the cue ball going where I sort of thought it was going to go, so I was happy.
From your own personal perspective, I mean, you've got the gig now working with Matchroom Sports and doing some of the Sky commentary. Bit of a role reversal here. You're normally this side doing the interviewing. I mean, that's a great gig to get, isn't it?
Yeah, Emily Fraser, obviously she's in charge now for Matchroom Multisport. She gave me the opportunity, to do Off the Rail and the punditry, so thanks to her and Matchroom, and sort of enjoyed doing it. And
yeah, I'll bet.
I kind of think if I went back playing, I'd probably be a better player than ever, because I've never watched as much pool. I seem to know what's going on there.
I mean, where's your heart now? I mean, you're playing these events and you're featuring. Do you still practice 8-ball, or are you just turning up from event to event?
I sort of just had a RAS on English 8-ball table put in my house, because I've got like a games room. Usually it's got like the kids' dirty washing on it, and it's more of a washroom. But I find it hard to play on my own. That's the problem, that's what sort of got me with the 9-ball in the end, just travelling around. And when I was going to tournaments, I never was. I think the only time I really practiced was when I was in the Moscone Cup.
Yeah.
That's when I did it. But I just found it very lonely and depressing. Just on my own playing pool. Yeah. So it never made me happy, and that's why I sort of decided to quit in the end. But sometimes I get the little urge to maybe get the cue back out. And the thing with English 8-ball is there's obviously, with me living in this country, there's more people playing the game.
Yeah.
So I have got options to practice.
Yeah.
So.
And where are you where are you feeling most at home now? I mean, you're obviously doing the punditry. Is that the future now? Is that what you want to be doing?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it, and it seems to have. I seem to get a lot more better reviews doing that than when I was playing. So just need a few more tournaments really, because obviously Matchroom, they've got 4 tournaments and they're the best 4 tournaments, but obviously it's not enough to be a living as such. If you look at like the darts, sort of Wayne Mardell is at every event in it, so that's his full-time job. So hopefully they can get a few more events.
But, I mean, it's a different kind of pressure, isn't it? I mean, you're going to be doing the Moscone Cup. I assume you're going to go across to Vegas and do the Moscone. What's the pressure like being down there playing or watching? Would you rather be involved? I'm sure you probably would.
Listen, if Matchroom give me an invite, or well, Marcus, whoever it is, if they give me an invite to play, I'd play no danger.
Yeah.
Because I think that event's all about experience. So even though you're not playing much, I think you could still put in a good performance because it's such high pressure. Sort of form goes out the window leading up to it. It's such a unique event, and it was just all the sort of bullshit that you had to do to get in that tournament. Playing all the lesser events around Europe, and it just sort of got to me. It just weren't making me happy. But obviously the Moscone and like I say, all the Matchroom events, they're amazing.
I'll put you on the spot. Moscone again, November the 24th, I think it kicks off. Are England, Europe going to pull it back, or is it going the US way again, do you think?
I think it all depends on the team, to be honest. I just think the European team on paper wasn't as strong as it could be, but obviously the guys qualify, so you can't take it away from them. But obviously I think they had did they have 2 rookies? 2 rookies? Yeah, 2 rookies. Yeah. And you do need a lot of experience in that event, and I think Filler, obviously he'll be in the team. He's such a good asset to have. So yeah, it all depends on the team.
Yeah. Jason Shaw, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you would think maybe Jason will be, but it's so hard to qualify now. If you don't get through the points, you need a wild card, and if you don't have a good season, you might not get the wild card. So it is tough being European. Do
you think, just without labouring it too much, do you think that last year was absolutely imperative that the America had to win it? I mean, it had been like 7 years in a row that they lost, and it was getting to the point surely where it was becoming uncompetitive. Still a great spectacle, but you almost felt like Barry Hearn was going to turn to Asia and say, let's find a team that can compete.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even someone who's played in it, I've actually been to watch it, not been involved, and now obviously I'm working with Matchroom. I sort of felt that America, they needed to win, but weren't so much that I sort of think America really come and they played better as a team. So even though you might say Europe didn't play unbelievable, I sort of don't think it matters, because I think what you're seeing is sort of all hopes weren't on Shane Van Bonen, and that's always been the case. So if he has a bad cup, it's sort of like, oh well, we're done. But Skyler's come of age, Billy Thorpe, Tyler Steyer, he had a great cup. So I think now, obviously, Shane's got the pressure off him. He knows if he has a bad game, he's got somebody coming out who can win the point, and I think that was such a big thing for Europe. I remember the first one I played in, when I went out, I thought, oh well, Mika's after me, or Ralph, do you know what I mean? And it just puts you at ease a bit more. So I think now they've got that, I think it's a lot more even.
Absolute pleasure to talk to one of the legends of the game, and
Cheers.
It's really good to have, just be able to have a chat about the game that I love, and I love the Moscone. I'll be going out in November, so it'll be great to see you right there.
Yeah, cheers, pal. Nice.
All the best for the rest of the event.
Thanks.
That's Karl Boys. He's going to be in action tomorrow morning. It's the draw for the last 16 at 10 a.m. and I think the action gets underway just shortly after that. We'll see you back in the main arena tomorrow morning. Have a good night's sleep. We'll see you then. Good night.